Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back. Well, Hisashiburi to me. I'm back. I'm back in my living room. Yeah, the real one, not the real one. And I've been absent, as some of you may have known, for a while. I've been on my holidays. We shall see some of that later, if you're really interested. And last week I didn't do a show. You may have noticed. Hello, still no guitar. Hello, Donald Trump. uh, uh, you know, distinguished guests in the audience there. Yes, I was on holiday in England, and it was very nice, very picturesque, and I did manage to do, as those of you who follow me, did do a live stream whilst I was in England. And that went fairly well, I thought. It was an interesting sort of overgrown Japanese garden in a Lake District valley, which I'd never known about before. Hey, Robert, hello. And yeah, that was good. And then I thought perhaps I'd do another one the following week, but I decided not to. I had it all set up, ready to go, and I was out with my sons for a walk, and but we were just enjoying the walk so much that I decided we'd just carry on doing the walk, and you could cope without a live stream for 1 week without me. You could manage without me. Anyway, I'm back in Belgium. It was grey and rainy, which was very typical for Belgium, but it's now brilliant sunshine outside. But that's not the reason I haven't gone out and done an outdoor live stream. I've decided this time I'd stay indoors and just chill with the audience. You have 5 guitars now. I should change your name. MDA87. Hello. That's a long time ago. Blimey. We've got Donald Trump and MDA87. So we've got the American contingent are in, and on the I'm going to say Australian. Sorry there, Robert. No, the Canadian contingent is also in. And the German contingent has 5 guitars. 5 guitars. What do you do with 5 guitars? You just like one day a week you play each one. Anyway, where was I? Yes, I'm back in Belgium. And Monday I've got to go back to work. Oh dear. And you may have been able to tell from the thumbnail, sort of, and later as I put some background video on, that the title of the show is Que Sera Sera. Hello, Peppo. Oh, we've got the Dutch contingent in. Hello. Que sera sera. Whatever will be, will be. And that's my frame of mind. Having to come to that frame of mind because obviously Kimberly has now moved to Taiwan, and we communicate less and less, unfortunately. So I was trying to accept that, and that is the sort of the underlying tone and theme of the show. It's also a theme from Doris Day. Yes, but I used for the advert. You may have noticed I had Que Sera Sera playing, but it wasn't Doris Day, actually. I thought perhaps I'd get copyrighted or something with that. So I found a harmony group from the 1940s called the Lennon Sisters, and they did a very nice version of it. But then I sort of interwove an Eddie Cochran rock and roll track into it just to confuse the algorithm. But anyway, how are you all? Yes, whatever will be, will be. Yes, that's what this show. Whatever will be, will be. Whatever happens from now to the end. What you see is what you get. God, is that all I get in? Anyway, I think I need to. Right, old habits die hard. You've got to lubricate the show somehow, and it's a nice bottle of, what is it? Côte de Rhône. Yes, it's quite tasty. Cheers, MDA. So I will now engage in putting that. I shall add this to the stage. Before presenting, remove other media streams from the stage. Oh, right, okay, I've got to remove. What other? Oh, yes, I've got to remove this. Okay, now I can add that. Okay, and now I do that. Okay, and then I go here, and I'll set that going. So there we are, Taipei, from a drone view. I think it was very hot in Taipei today. Prost, bottoms up, yes. Yeah, yeah. This results in Kimberley moving to Taiwan results in I shall be able to see it perhaps just once a year if I'm lucky. So that's something I've just got to live with, I'm afraid. Yes, you all know my story with her. We meet up quite frequently, but because she lived not far from my parents, so that was easy. But not anymore. Oh dear, never mind. Such is life. Yeah. So on my holidays, um, my sons wanted to go up a serious hill. Well, certainly Nick did, and I didn't want to disappoint him. So at a certain point during the holiday, we started gently. We started relatively gently. Although the walk up to the first hill that we went to was quite steep, I imagine, but the views from the top were rather spectacular, very relaxing. But midway through the sort of the week came the crunch point where I was required to go up a high hill with them, and this is when I discovered that I'm not the man I used to be. You. All right. Oh, you've streamed from Taipei 101. You've seen that. It was the world's highest skyscraper at one point. It's been superseded, I think. But anyway, yes, this hill. I'll show you some pictures of it later. But very very nice to look at from a distance, I find. And it was all right, sort of, as we approached it, but then it just got steeper and steeper and steeper, and lovely views on the way up. But I had to catch my breath more than I used to. And my sons were, our sons are just like in their 20s, so they're going off ahead, and they would have to stop and wait for their old dad to come up. But that was what, and we got to the there's a little lake halfway up the mountain, really, and all the other walkers had stopped there, and some of them were actually swimming in the water. And my sons had a paddle, and I just said at that point, right, this is as far as I can go. It's just no. I looked at the rest of the hill. We did it like 3 years ago, and I managed back then. I don't know what's happened in the in the intervening 3 years, but yeah, age probably. Yes. So what have you all been up to? Have you been on holiday, Peppo? You've been having Peppo's been partying. I know that he's been messaging me and he's telling me he couldn't watch the live streams because he's been going to a party, and then he apologised again to say sorry, no, I can't come to this one either. I'm going to another party. So the party animal in the chat is Peppo. Tell us all, Peppo. Peppo likes to party all the time? Question mark. Oh, not yet. Oh, right, the 22nd. Right. I've got another party on the 22nd. Oh, that's why you're here. You could fit me in your schedule. I see. Right. Yes. Does Peppo like to party all the time? Yes. He looks quite innocent, but really is a wild party animal. And MDA 87. So what's happening with you? What's news? Just a lot of birthdays. All right. That's your excuse. Yeah, so after like descending from the hill, we had a nice meal and a drink in the sort of the hotel pub at the bottom of the hill. But then that was it. That was it for the day. I was exhausted. I think we just went into the nearby town and went into a bookshop, which is much more relaxing. All right. You finished a project in Denver. Oh, well, this is a good way to relax, I suppose. Tell your friends, come and watch my show to relax. When you've done your projects, oh, like, hang on, adverts. Sorry, this is a Dutch chap telling us how to buy shares. I'm sorry, I can't. I have to go here to skip it. There we go, skip. Oh, one a kind of stag. Now it's coming out now. One is it was a kind of a stag day, says Peppo. All right, that's just that's the reality. Can you tell us what you is it was it an interesting project, or is it a project where you just think, oh God, I'm glad that's over and I can now relax, or was it one that pumped you up? Because it's strange. I'm talking to a screen with questions on it here, waiting for a response. Type faster, everybody. Yes, I mean you don't come to. I mean the basic premise of this show is you tune in and then zone out and leave me to do the talking, don't you? So, but some interaction would be helpful. Can't rely on psychoactive products to assist me all the time. It's all gone quiet. Peppo's reluctant to tell us about his stag do. Just a boring project, really. Oh, right. Good. Okay. Oh, right. Yes. Yes, I remember you, Peppo, yes, telling me about. Hello, who's that? Who's that? Some people sometimes like my adverts on Instagram or like my reels, and it turns out to be some lady in a bikini who's possibly a front for some kind of scam artist. Mostly, who's this? Oh no, I apologise. It's our good old friend Donna Casada, the professor from uh, Culver City in California. So that's a legitimate like for my advert. Bots, yes, kind of like so and so liked your reel, and then when you click on their account, it's do you want to see my private picture? No, I don't. Go away. But yeah, Donna. She's been on the show a couple of times. She was off. Yeah, I thought perhaps we might have a chance to meet up because she's been travelling around France with her friends, but she's just gone back to the States. Hmm. Well, it gets grey. It looks grey in Taipei, so it does get grey. Could almost be could almost be Belgium, except for the ridiculous temperatures. I think I check it regularly, and it's like sometimes like 40 degrees there and humid. No, thank you. Raining for the last month. Which bit of this? Hang on, wait a minute. Yes, you're American in Germany, I think, Donald, aren't you? Yeah. So yes, you could coordinate with them with still no guitar, and each could confirm that it's been raining there. Southern Germany, yes, and it's a scooter hell, yes. Yeah, I was asking Kimberly whether she'd like experienced scooter riding, and she said no. Wearing the helmet makes makes your head sweat and messes up your hair. So I don't think she's bothered with the scooter. She says she travels either by car or by metro everywhere. Go away with rain. Well, I quite welcome the rain actually. I mean, I was glad that it didn't rain when I was in England. It was a lot cooler than it was here, but it didn't rain, thankfully. But I'm glad of it here because it cools it all down. I hope it doesn't rain on Monday though, because I've got to help the builder. We're breaking out a floor in someone's house, legitimately, so that he can then put tiles in. But It means like going in and out of the house and tipping stuff into a skip. And I hope to goodness that it doesn't rain while I'm doing that. It does look very nice, though, from aerial shots. A lot greener than I thought it would. Taipei. Yes, and when I show you the pictures of the holiday, you'll be surprised how green I was. Much greener. I was worried in the beginning of the summer because it was just getting hotter and drier and hotter and drier, and all the lovely lush green was turning into sort of brown frazzled stuff, which I don't like. But when I got to England, lovely green. I'll just check how long have I got left. Oh, I put it onto slow mode. As you can see, it's in slow motion. These ladies are exercising in slow motion. It was just some visual wallpaper, really. Continuity between the gaps in the conversation. Hang on. We can always go back to that. What I'll do is, how did I do it? Oh, yeah, go here. Pause you above the clouds. Go here. Summer is supposed to be. Oh, please not. No. And I shall go here. There we are. Oh, and I need to. There we go. So I uploaded all the best of my photos from my holiday, and they've uploaded randomly, unfortunately. So I shall have to talk you through them. We've gone from Taipei into Beatrix Potter's village in the Lake District. Those of you familiar with Beatrix Potter and the Tales of Peter Rabbit and Tom Kitten, Beatrix Potter lived in this village. Her house is sort of, I didn't take a picture because I've got loads of pictures of that. It's the other side of that, a bit further up. But this was a rather nice house with a nice garden and a bunch of flowers there. If I move it out, I need to turn off my my virtual background. All right, there we are. It's interfering. There we go. That's much clearer. Okay. So yes, this is the house in the village where Beatrix Potter's house is located. That was towards the end of the holiday. We went for a walk there. We did a walk, and it ended up. I wanted a nice low-level walk after having done that huge mountain, and my sons kindly obliged me. So what's the next one? Ah, right. There you can see the pointy hills in the background. That's where Nick said we're going to go for a walk, the one that we did 3 years ago, and I managed, and this was the one where I didn't manage. But it looks very nice, as you can see, from the car window. A huge mountain in the UK. Well, it's not the tallest mountain in the UK, but it's one of the taller ones in England. Now, you don't generally associate England with tall mountains. It's mostly Scotland or Wales. But in the Lake District, where I'm from in England, they do have mountains, and that is one of them. It's called what's it called? I've forgotten what it's called. Pike of Stickle. The Langdale Pikes, they're called. Pike being a pointy bit on the top of a hill. This is a waterfall on the way up, just a little one. It looked very refreshing. There were people canyoning. This is out of sequence. This is my youngest son, Nick, and this is towards the end of the holiday. We went to another lake called Coniston, and he's just about to throw some stones into the. We're doing skimming stones on the lake. But yes, the only mountains in England as such are in the Lake District. And I think the highest is called Scarfell or something like that. This is again in a village just down the road from Beatrix Potter's village, and I took this picture because there's some sheep in the garden. You know, house with sheep in the garden because it's a farmhouse. Really, it's an active farmhouse. There was a farmer, and there's there was a barn across the other side of the road, and tractors and stuff. So it's nice to know that there's still sort of activity, proper rural countryside activity going on, because it's it's mostly a tourist region, but there is still, it's still actively farmed. Oh, right, my green screen's going a bit weird. Hang on. Yeah, and when the sun comes out, my green screen goes weird. There we go. So this is us walking. Oh, all right. This is again random. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to put them in order. This is a place called Devil's Bridge. It's a 14th century sandstone bridge in a place called Kirby Lonsdale. Kirby Lonsdale is famous for this bridge. It's very spectacular, going over this sort of rocky river. And I thought my father suggested that my sons and I go to somewhere else outside the Lake District for a change. And here we are, suddenly back in the Langdale Pikes on our way up the hill. Yes, way more scenic than the flatlands, Peppo. Indeed, yes. It's there are sort of slightly hilly areas in Belgium, as you may or not know, but nothing quite like this. And then randomly we jumped to rowing. My sons said, "What else can we do? Where else can we go for a walk?" And they wanted to go to a bookshop in a village at the end of this lake. But they also thought perhaps we could go rowing. Now, we've been rowing on various lakes, but we enjoyed this one, so we went back to this one. This is called Ullswater. It's not the largest lake in the Lake District, but it's very pleasant. Where's this? Oh, right. Suddenly dropped back to the village next to to where Beatrix Potter was. This is a place called Farsori. Farsori. And this is the church of Farsori. And this house in the foreground is for sale. We looked it up on the internet how much they're asking for this house. It's only £750,000. If you've got £750,000 to spare, you can have that house. This is back to Ullswater. While we were rowing, we had to row quite quickly because this steamer carrying tourists was heading towards us, so it rowed out of the way quite quickly. Yes, there's like 3 or 4 steamers that ply up and down the lake. I think I went on one once. Where are we now? Oh, we're back to the high hill again, I think. This is on the way up. Doesn't look that high, really. But it was hard work. For me, anyway. Out of condition. I've been spending all my time in the flatland, drinking wine and cocktails and not doing much other than, I mean, I do work when I'm at work, and it's quite physically demanding sometimes, but it's not like climbing a hill. This is back to Beatrix Potter country. As you can see, it's much lower. This is sort of south of those hills. Beatrix Potter country is slightly more undulating and lower hills, but still intensely green, as you can see. Yes, this is looking. You can see a little white stripe in the middle of the. You can't really see it. Under the sky, there's a little dot, and that's the lake. This is that little lake where I gave up after climbing the hill. As you can see, the size of the people. That's somebody in the lake. There's a little black dot in the lake. That's a person. I did have another photograph. Round the corner from this is basically a sheer cliff, incredibly high. And I looked, and I was sat next to this lake and looking, and I saw something moving on it, and it was people. Oh, right, we're back to Ullswater. Sorry, it's all random here. After rowing, we saw these people gathered around something, and they brought. It was the 70th anniversary of the world water speed record from 1955, and this was won by somebody called Donald Campbell, and they restored his boat from that time, and because of the 70th anniversary, they brought it back. They didn't put it in the water; they just showed it. Perspective matters, yes. This is back to Kirby Lonsdale again, place where the Devil's Bridge was. You can see the buildings are all the same colour of stone as the bridge. It's quite unusual. I mean, you go to the Lake District, it's all grey slate buildings. You come here and it looks quite a lot like southern England from the style and the colour of the stone. But all very like Georgian and Victorian, with lovely gardens like this. The whole town is like lots of little alleyways and nooks and crannies and little gardens tucked away. I'd recommend it if you're ever in the north of England. Go to Kirby Lonsdale. Donald Campbell. I think Donald Campbell only held the water speed record, and he died in 1967 or something like that when he was making a second attempt with a different boat and it crashed. This is the near Devil's Bridge, the river. I can't remember the name of the river. What is it? Oh, I used to, because it's a river that runs past the town of Lancaster as well. The River Loon, I think it is. Yeah. Right, there's the steamers. Right, there's a couple of them there. We thought perhaps that they would maybe put the boat on the water, but they've carefully restored it. It's 70 years old, and I don't think they wanted to risk putting it in the water. Where are we now? I can't remember which lake this is. They all look the same after a while. It's a lake with hills and some trees and greenery. Pick a lake, any lake. Although some of the lakes, like Ullswater, for example, they have much bigger and higher hills, and it gives a completely different impression. I don't have any pictures of Grasmere where we usually do our rowing, but that's sort of much more gentle. The hills are just high enough. Ah, yes, this is still Ullswater. This is, you can see where the car is parked. That's where we took our rowing boat from. We were the first people there. We got there as soon as it opened. But by the time we got back, it was getting quite busy. But it's very, very bucolic and rural and, relaxing. I have to say, it's very relaxing there. In certain areas, at certain times and in certain places, it gets absolutely heaving with people. But if you know the right places, it can be very quiet and deserted, and you feel yourself at one with nature. This is back on the River Loon near Devil's Bridge. Ah, his dead dad held a land speed. Google is your friend. Thanks, Peppo. Yes. And I was fairly certain that Donald Campbell hadn't done the land speed record. This is looking down from Devil's Bridge. They did have a problem at some point of like teenagers jumping off into the water, which, as long as you aim correctly and you get right in the middle, should be okay. But the river is not all that deep, and you can see that the rocks quite close to the surface of the water. So you can imagine, they were not always enthusiastic. And this is my son's on the walk up the steep hill. I think, yes, up the very steep hill. I think I was just sat down while they sort of carried on. But yes, it was worth it. I mean, even though it was exhausting, it was worth it, I have to say. Where are we here? Oh, this is the first walk we did. We came down from the walk to some old deserted water mills, and this is looking over the sort of stone bridge where they were. So have any of you guys been out walking in nature recently? And this is the view from the top of the very high hill. Well, from that lake area down, you can see it looks like a hard climb, doesn't it? I mean, I am not being, a softie. It does look, like you have to be in condition to get up that far. And you can see the size of it. This is all right. We'll jump back to Kirby Lonsdale. There's the Church of Kirby Lonsdale and some kind of like market cross thing. So, it's all very, picturesque, I have to say. Lots of nice little tea rooms, and there was lots of hotels and pubs. I seem to remember scattered around. Hotels, tea rooms, pubs, gift shops. This is a little pack horse bridge. This was when we did our first walk, and we drove down to get to the location, and Google Maps was sending us down this road, and the road just was as my son's car. You might see it later on. Is a little Peugeot, and the road was not much wider than the car, and the bridge was about just as wide as the car, and his like detection sensors were going off left, right, and centre. I shall have to cover up my son's face. He would not like that because he has this sort of strained look on his face. Because up until sort of most recently, myself and Nick did the rowing, but Tom wanted to do the rowing this time, and he was like straining. So hide his face until it changes. Oh, right, yes. I must have taken a portrait shot of the church, and so you have to turn your heads. That's the church in Kirby Lonsdale. Very nice, but it's deteriorating. It says there was a notice saying that the stone is deteriorating. The door there is a Norman archway, so that's about 1,000 years old. So you can understand why it's deteriorating if it's 1,000 years old. Oh yes, and that's a coffee. It's like 20 minutes old, but there's a nice coffee shop in my hometown, and Nick and I together went for a morning coffee. It's a very sort of old-fashioned shop with wooden floorboards, and all the coffee is on wooden shelves, and they've got a really old till, which probably won't come up in the next photograph, but later on there's a little old like brass 19th century till. There it is. And again, it's like you have to turn your head. You can see all the coffee stacked on the wooden shelves and the wooden counter. It's very, it's still going. Old coffee, yes. Old coffee for old men. But Nick likes his coffee. He grinds his own coffee. I bought him a coffee grinder for his birthday once. Coffee, that's probably what I should be having later on after this to compensate for the wine. Oh, right. This is the first walk we did. Cat Bells, it's called. Cat Bells is up to the left here, and this is looking back. It's near Keswick, if you want to look on the map. Keswick in the Lake Districts. Very nice it was, as you can see. And that was the introductory walk. Nick wanted a hill with views, and I think that's looking back on Cat Bells. It's quite interesting. There's like peaks, and you walk basically along the top, and you have to scramble up some of those peaks and scramble down. So the rest is okay, but then the scrambling bits are quite hairy. Were they alive with the sound of music? No, but having said that, 3 years ago, when we did the walk on the Langdale Pikes that I was able to manage, um, Nick at that point had discovered Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. So we were on the top of this hill, and he got his phone out, and we played the entire like guitar break from Freebird was blasting out over the hills. It was kind of cool. Again, a back street. This is the sort of little back streets of Kirby Lonsdale with cobbles and old buildings. Yeah, random woodland somewhere. I can't remember. I've got that many photos on my phone. I return and see, oh, that looks nice, and take a photo, and then I don't remember where it is. It was actually it fitted the actual like experience being on top of a hill with all these fantastic views, and then Lynyrd Skynyrd like guitar break going. Can't remember where this is. Where the hell is this? I don't know. It looks nice wherever it is, but it all kind of looks a bit like this, really. The Lake District. Yeah, there are variations. I mean, if you go into the more northern parts or the western parts, it gets very rugged and bare. Not so many trees, mostly sort of bare rocks. Lots of streams as well. But we do this holiday like twice a year, summer and Christmas, and always enjoy it. They're always looking forward to going. Me too. I also see my parents. This is the walk to. Where was this? The walk to. This was the walk to Catbells. No, can't remember where this was. This is where there's like a water mill up round this corner. Eskdale, that's right, Eskdale. We went to walk in Eskdale. That's right, I remember. This place is called Eskdale. Yes, that was when I did the first live stream. Not far from there. We couldn't do it from Eskdale because there was no signal. But then we did the live stream from a bit further down the valley. This is the market square in Kirby Lonsdale with this rather elaborate Victorian thing in the middle. In fact, it says 1908 on it, so it's 20th century. I think this is part of the mill in Eskdale. It's a working corn mill. The water mill still works, and they do grind corn to make into flour. But it's only open for public viewing on certain days and blah blah blah, and they do sell the flour. What is that thing? That thing that you saw before? That's like a little pergola thing in the middle of the market area of Kirby Lonsdale. This was as we finished the walk in Eskdale. We came down and found another mill, but this one was no longer working. As you can see, it's all grown over, the water wheel. Eskdale is very picturesque, yes. There's a sort of miniature steam railway there as well, and some nice waterfalls. Quite interesting driving there as well from my parents, especially if you like steep switchback mountain roads. It's definitely worth going. These deserted buildings in Eskdale. And sheep. Lots of sheep in the Lake District as well. I mean, if it wasn't for the sheep, the hills would be covered in trees. There are certain areas of the Lake District now where they're restricting access for sheep so that the trees can grow back. It's contentious amongst farmers, especially. This is Eskdale again. Before we went, this is the bit before we got up to the mill section. I just took it because I like these little old white painted cottages. And those are my sons. Where's this? Oh, right. Yes, Nick wanted to grab a photo. He said this was his favourite place view in the Lake District. We were driving to Keswick to go to Catbells, and this area in the middle here, this little hill, it's called Castle Crag. It's very picturesque. I think we went up. I've been up the Castle Crag, but the boys hadn't. It's just like there's a valley with hills either side, and then suddenly there's a huge rock formation in the middle covered in trees. And round the corner is another lake. I can highly recommend a visit there. But you have to be fit, I have to say. I mean, you could do a sort of laid back, easygoing kind of visit. In which case, I would be happy to take you. If you want to climb hills, then give me fair warning. Is that it? Have they finished? Is that all the ones I uploaded? Seems to be stuck on that one. Hang on. Let's have a look. I think I might have shown you everything. Or everything that I uploaded. Yes, that was the last one. Okay. And that explains why it's not moving anymore. Right. In that case, I shall... am I going to do this? Transfer. Hello. Oh, reality. God. Oh dear. This is what it really looks like. This is not my living room. Hang on. I have to go and visual effects. Visual effects enhance skin appearance, it says here. Oh, I'm going to try that. Enhance skin appearance. What's it doing? What's it going to do? I don't know. Do I look younger? I don't know whether it's made any difference at all. Okay, there we are. Everybody's gone quiet in the comments. Oh my God, what was that? It's just ironed out my wrinkles. There, I'm slightly. I look like I'm made of margarine or something, and my face is melted. Am I live? Am I alive? Am I alive? Hello, UFO Bob. Hope it doesn't enhance skin. I think I'm live. Yeah. Pretty much. Yes. Are you? So we have 3 Americans, one of whom is in Germany, a Canadian, a Dutchman, and a German. So yes, Bob. Like you said, it was a good decision last week not to live stream because I was out walking with the boys. You probably just missed all the holiday photos, so you missed seeing where I was and what I was doing. But yes, you can watch the replay. I'm not going through all that again. Sorry, but yes, it was a good idea. So yes, I saw on Discord, Bob. You met up with George again, George Trullinger. For those of you who don't know, George is can I call him an impersonator? That's his job. He impersonates like famous people, like Ed Sullivan and Mick Jagger, and he works together with Beatles impersonators. And there's a friend of Bob's. And he was on the show years ago. Years ago now, yeah, really. I almost typed in the comments, say hi from me on Discord. He might remember me. I think he had a good time on the show. Oh, you were at a party with him last night as well. All right. Yeah, you were doing your. He was doing his Mick Jagger impression. Which who are you impersonating, Bob? Answers, audience, please. Who do you think Bob would best impersonate? So yes, we're back to my living room, which, as you saw, was just a green sheet in my bedroom. Ah, but it's a lot easier than moving down to that real living room there. You're impersonating a musician. Were your audience satisfied? Were they convinced? Did you have sake? That's the question. There's a sake event coming up in Antwerp in October. I'm considering going. And also today, yes, remember that gallery, the Japanese gallery in Antwerp that I sometimes go to. The time has come again. They're having their Japanese market. I was almost tempted to go then, but then I rewatched my live stream and I said I've done it twice now. The Japanese market at that gallery. I thought, can't do the same thing all again. Are you jammed with others after the barbecue? No sake. Mm. I haven't actually had sake for quite some time. I must get a fresh bottle, but I just got myself a book on making whiskey cocktails, so I need to get whiskey first, and then think about sake. Yes, I was craving a Manhattan. I mean, I remember like my first Manhattan with whiskey and red vermouth, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting combo, and it was very nice. I have to say. I need to save some for tomorrow. There's a little bit left, so I shall save that for tomorrow. It was a lot of fun, regardless of the fact that there was no sake. Well, yes, it sounds it. Yeah. The booze Patreon, yes. Ko-fi. Don't buy me a coffee. Buy me a sake. Don't think YouTube would approve somehow. Yes, I wonder what. I mean, for Ko-fi, the Ko-fi thing. I don't know how that is associated with YouTube. Whether it's independent. Do you have to be a certain age to ask people to buy you a coffee? All right, George is doing his thing tonight with the Fab Four. His Ed Sullivan impression. Yeah, he did Buddy Holly as well. That's right. He impersonates Buddy Holly. Yeah, I remember now. It's all coming back. You have a Ko-fi. You just like randomly like put Ko-fi out and yeah. Oh, I'm not a fantastically sort of avid coffee drinker. I drink it at work because they don't have tea, but when I'm home, I drink tea, and occasionally I'll grind a coffee. But I try to minimise my caffeine intake. I should also really try to minimise my alcohol intake because I was checking sort of how many units a person of my age should be consuming as a male should be consuming a week. I think, oh, I'm all right, I'm not doing too bad. And then I looked at what you're supposed to have and what I'm having, and I thought, oh, right, yes. So I should have to practice more abstinence, resistance. I don't know what you call it. Yes. I mean, I enjoy the psychotropic effects, of course. They have certain advantages and benefits, but yes, the my liver and my gut are shaking their heads. I should switch to cannabis. I tried cannabis at school and college. I just fell over backwards, laughing uncontrollably. I seem to remember, and that was about it. And I don't really want to do that. It's, I know. Oh, right, to donate to streamers, you get taxed if you use super chat. All right. I thought that was very weird. Sort of when I first saw it, like I got so used to sort of like making comments, and then like you make comments. Nobody's saying here have €10 and read my comment first. I thought that's a bit weird. Okay, yeah, you can do. I mean, that'd be nice. Send it in a sealed brown envelope and post it to a certain address, and I'll be quite happy. But yes, I don't know. What do I then become a performing monkey? Just throw money into the hat. The streamers do. YouTube takes 30%. Oh well. You fall over and laugh even without an alcohol or drugs. Yes, we could all learn from Bob. You should set up a sort of like a. You could make money off that. Teach people how to fall over and laugh without drugs or alcohol. Have a course. Healthy mirth with Bob. Yes, you could do the advert for it as a UFO Bob character. Hi, do you want to fall over and laugh? The cult of Bob. Yes, yes. You can just see you going down the streets of Orange County, California, with a load of people bashing tambourines. Yeah. So, yes, followers, Bob's followers. I'm not quite happy with my smoothed out face. I mean, yes, I like to look my age, so I'm going to go into settings and get rid of visual effects, enhanced skin appearance. Oh, that's why. Oh dear, I've only got it set on half. Let's see what happens when there's a slider for how much it affects your appearance. I'm going to slide it all the way, the full enhancement. Do I miraculously change into a handsome guy? I don't know. I don't know. I look like I've plastered my face with half a ton of makeup. I don't know. Oh. No, I got to change back. No, it's awful. Visual effects. Visual effects. Now just switch it off. Does it make a difference? I can see my sweat now. Laughing with Bob, your new channel. There we go. You never know. That might actually take off. Laughing with Bob. Yeah, but then you would be obliged every week and every live stream to make people laugh. Otherwise, they'd be be contravene the trade trade district. It would contravene something. I can't even say it. Trades Description Act. Yes. Well, I've virtually managed to get through an entire show talking out of my posterior, and and showing you Taiwan from the air, which you don't often see, or Taipei from the air, and random shots of my holiday. Que sera, sera, as they say. Whatever will be, and it was that. And now I've got to think of something for next week. Oh dear. Well, I've got a week to do some research. I have there's a Japanese lady on Instagram who likes to go to Oktoberfest in Tokyo, and she dresses in German traditional clothing and plays the accordion, and she followed me back on it. I followed her because she's quite interesting combination, but she followed me back. So I'm tempted to message her and see if I can get her to come on the show. I don't know whether she speaks English, so that could be problematic, but that's a possibility at some future point anyway. No wonder my voice is more bassy. What? Because there's a ton of makeup on my face. I just got to put my mouth right up to the microphone like this. Right, I think I may have to go and make that coffee. I have to go and grind some coffee and get my head back into business. Oh. You sound that way because you were speaking out of your post. I have a post. I have this. This is actually those of you who know where I live in England or from England. There's a lighthouse, which is actually a monument on the hill behind my parents' house. And my parents had an older house that they used to live in before the one they're living in now, house from the 1870s. And in the garden was, when we moved there, first the garden was a bit overgrown, and there was a pine tree growing out of a rockery. And my dad decided to remove it, and then they asked a friend of the family, said that he would make something from that pine tree, and this is it. It's a little sort of memento of the lighthouse. Well, there you go. I was talking out of my posterior. That's why I sound. Oh, thanks, Bob. Start the grinding. So I'm going to grind out of my posterior. And see you all next week, probably. If you found this entertaining, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I'm going to go now recover. You can all go now recover and join me again next week on Simon. Either possibly for more of the same, or I may go out and try and do something more constructive and show you that as well. But thanks for everybody for joining, and see you all again next week. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.